Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good Effin podcast, where we discuss Big Brother Canada 3. So today we're going to talk about everything that happened during Brittnee's HOH week, as well as a few things from the live feeds after her reign was over. I'm Hera, and I'm joined by
Drew.
And Heather.
So overall, what did you guys think of the way Brittnee handled her HOH?
It was nice seeing her, actually play the game this week, because we had kind of been underestimating her as far as, whether or not she'd be playing the game or not, and we got to see a more strategic side of her this week. I know some people don't necessarily think that, her targets were on point this week, but I do think that, I think when it comes to Brittnee specifically and not the, who's the biggest threat out of everybody, because we see something very different from what they see, I think as far as Brittnee and what she might view her game as and, who would be a threat to her game, I do think that Graig was a good target.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand why people would prefer if Bobby had been the target.
What did you think, Heather?
I think that she definitely proved what we were saying last week about her lack of gameplay being because she was on slop and being lethargic because of that. Because
and
as
being
soon as she
nominated.
got some food in her, oh yeah, that too. As soon as she got on food and was HOH, immediately when the feeds went on, she was just this lively, bubbly person. And as far as her reign goes, I'd agree with Drew in the fact that she did what was best for her game at that point. In retrospect, I can see why people are now complaining about, oh, well, they should have known that Zach and Jordan were just using her or whatever. But they can't really see what we see. So there's really no way that she could have known that, you know? So I think it was a success for her.
Yeah, I don't agree that she should have targeted Zach and Jordan at all.
I don't think she should have either, because it would have been too much too soon. And it would be stupid.
Yeah, and they're working with her, even though they're not invested in her doing well in the game, but they are working with her. And
there's something to worry about down the line, I think.
Yeah.
I know everyone sees, obviously, they're the biggest threats to win the game, but you have to worry about your immediate threats right now in the game. Graig is gonna go after you next week.
Yeah.
And he basically said as much.
Yeah.
The entire time, thinking that he was controlling her entire HOH, and being it's all part of the plan, man. It's all part of the plan, and even to the point of him getting evicted and saying, well, the real target was Johnny. And it's what?
Yeah. I don't understand how they thought Johnny was the target, but...
I know.
Did you like Brittnee's acting when she told everyone that, I never forget when someone writes down my name, and then she looked at Johnny?
It was so dramatic. I loved it.
It was amazing.
It was good TV.
She was putting those New York skills to work. I love it.
Yeah. I think her HOH was a success from an entertainment standpoint, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I think the whole, in the DR, she was really playing up the whole, my master plan is coming together and all that. But I enjoyed it. I just liked seeing how the Chop Shop, their egos had to I just like seeing them squirm and, be on the block for once because they were getting way too into themselves and thinking that they had the game wrapped up and they were just gonna win back-to-back HOHs.
It was a nice power shift.
Yeah. I think from a game standpoint, I think it was fine. I don't think just because she won that HOH with Sarah, I don't think anyone really sees Brittnee as a threat, and they don't think that she makes moves on her own, which I know Brittnee isn't happy with. She wants, people to think that she has her own mind and that she can play she's smart and she makes her own moves and everything like that. But people in the house seem to have the idea that Johnny and Sarah are manipulating her, which works to her advantage.
Yeah, so she'll be frustrated, but down the line it's going to help her out.
Yeah, definitely. So, what did you guys think about Graig now that he's gone? What was your impression of Graig in the house? And are you happy that he's gone?
I'm happy that he's gone, but I don't agree with the bully thing that they had going on. Graig was annoying, but he was never how do I explain it? He was never
He wasn't as bad as Andrew last season.
Yeah, he wasn't aggressively like mean to people. He was very much like a passive aggressive person. Like if he had anything mean to say, it was definitely behind their backs. And I can see how he was definitely like how did he put it? He was like he's a very outspoken personality, which I agree with, and he's obnoxious, but he never really bullied anybody.
No, I don't think he did either. What do you think, Heather?
I'd agree in the sense that he is passive aggressive, but the way that he approaches people is very aggressive. Like, he has a lot of intensity behind it, and it comes across really, really, like, rough and just unpleasant. And it's not something that I would personally want to deal with, but that doesn't necessarily constitute bullying. So, and like, the worst thing that he's ever said was loser. That's all he ever called people, was a loser. So it's like, that's not really bullying if you look at it in comparison to Andrew, like you said, where basically every other word out of his mouth was such a dumb slut. Or a dumb bitch.
And like, he called Heather a dumb bitch to her face.
Yeah.
Just because she didn't pick him for the POV.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, you knew that Kenny would help us, so you didn't pick her. Such a dumb bitch. Meanwhile, Graig is just like, you don't want to talk to me right now, it's not a good time. And then, losers. So it's kind of going overboard to call him a bully.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bully either, and I think Johnny just felt like he was bullying him just because someone is targeting you in the game doesn't mean that they're bullying you. And just because they have a very intense personality doesn't mean that they're a bully. I think Graig was a good character. And he was and a good villain. Well, kind of a good villain. I don't think he really accomplished anything, but
he was like someone fun to hate.
Yeah.
Yes.
To root against. I don't even would go so far as to say I hate him, just because I don't think he really did anything of consequence in the game, but except for just forming that douchey alliance called the Chop Shop. But
yeah,
I think he was a entertaining character from watching like the episodes. Just the way his like weird phrases like hashtag Jinja Ninja, hashtag 604, Propa, yeah, those are all things that made him a very entertaining character from like watching the episodes. I think he just sucked at the game, and that's why he seemed very aggressive. I think he just didn't know what he was. I don't think he knew how to approach people and handle situations. So he just wasn't a very good player in the game.
Exactly. He was a good character, not a good player.
Yeah, he was a memorable character, but someone that'll be easy to forget after the show, which I think is like a good thing.
Yeah, because he wasn't even a memorable villain. Just a good caricature of like this 36-year-old man who says he was in the major leagues, but not really, and
lied about being a Costco employee
for like 2 days. And then he like revealed all.
Lied about being 32 and then said all these things that clearly gave his age away, where it's like, yeah, 4 years ago when I was 32. I mean, he was funny because he was so stupid and so bad at everything in the game except being a good character.
Yeah. And did the episodes ever show him lying about his job? Or was that just something
I don't think
that
so.
happened on the
No.
They probably couldn't like clear it because it was Costco. Yeah.
True. Yeah, so he's gone, and now we have Risha, Cindy, Neha, and Graig all in the same house, possibly.
Oh god.
Give us a live feed of that.
I really hope we get like a segment about the pre-jury people, because like one of my favorite things about jury is when we get to see them in the house and all that, and I feel like with all of those characters, especially after Neha leaving like right before Graig did, it'd be nice to see them like see each other and enter the house that they're in or whatever.
Yeah. And did you guys get a chance to check out his house guest hangout after he was evicted?
I didn't. What'd he say?
Part of it.
Just that he, like, in his interview with Arissa right after, when she told him about that he would get a chance to return to the house, initially he was like, I don't really want to go back in there. But then he said in his house guest hangout that like 5 minutes afterward, he felt like, yeah, I really want to go back in. I really want to play the game again. And so he's really pumped about going in the house, and he's convinced that he's going to be the one who goes back because if it's a competition, obviously he's gonna be able to beat all the girls. And if
He
it's
didn't win anything, did he?
Exactly.
no, and if it's a vote, then he's definitely getting back in.
Oh my
Because
god.
Canada will
Sure.
definitely vote him back in, which I thought was
Did
hilarious.
he not hear like the cheers when he said that he wasn't gonna try? Like,
Yeah.
oh, Graig.
We were just cheering in general. Also, he said that obviously he's rooting for Bruno, which was his like number one person in the house. He was upset with Zach because Zach didn't talk to him before he was leaving, like to say that I'm not voting for you, I'm keeping Bobby. So he, from an emotional standpoint, he wants to go over after Zach, but he's not sure. But Johnny and Sarah are definitely like two people that he would want to go after. But yeah, that's it. That's all that's relevant from that house guest hangout. So anything else about Graig that you guys want to touch on, or are we done with that?
I really hope he doesn't come back in.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I liked the editing in the episode where it basically set up his entire downfall and showed all these different things as to how he got to where he is, like with him saying that stuff to Johnny, and then them giving that little montage of Johnny clips, and then him being like, I don't know, 10 hours ago I was okay. A lot can happen in 10 hours. It's just like, it was so cartoonish that I loved it.
The editing in general, like this week, has been good.
Mm-hmm.
The feeds haven't been the most exciting, but I think the editing, they're cutting things together that tell a really good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, moving on. So, another thing that happened this week was that Brittnee, Sarah, Johnny, they're kind of together, and then they formed an alliance with Zach, Jordan, and Kevin, and they're calling themselves the Hexagon. Do you guys have any thoughts on that alliance?
I like most of it. I like the concept of it. I just wish that Zach and Jordan... Well, I'm getting kind of bored of them trying to play the house, because
Me too.
they're not even really fun about it. They're just kind of like... They talk about playing the house more than they actually play the house, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're not really being that subtle about it.
Mm-hmm. And it's not even a good game move on their part or something that's smart, as opposed to showing how bad everyone else is at playing for not detecting it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because like it's not so much credit to them as discredit to everyone else.
Yeah, and I don't like that they're trying to take credit for everything that happens. Like, Brittnee putting up Graig, they were talking to themselves and acting like they had set this whole plan in motion and they were responsible for basically everything that's going on in the house, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And just really annoying because they're giving themselves credit for things that they don't deserve and they think they're just playing this amazing game.
They
Yeah.
haven't really done anything yet.
Yeah, it's just annoying to watch people's egos just grow and grow when it's not deserved.
And the thing is, it's not even like they're entertaining to watch. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's so bland and cookie cutter that it's annoying.
It reminds me of Derek from BB16.
Yes, but like times
Yeah.
2.
Except Derek never really had this ego. He never really played it up. He was just making everything boring, but at least he wasn't like, I don't know.
Acting like some kind of mastermind.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Socially, they're playing a good game, but they haven't made any moves of their own yet, really.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they're just gonna keep throwing competitions and no one, I don't know, nobody's really playing right now except for 6 people, maybe 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And only because they're like forced to. Like there's the underdogs who are Johnny, Brittnee, and Sarah, and then there's Bruno and Bobby.
Yeah.
And Godfrey is sort of with Bruno and Bobby, but he's not really doing anything either. And then you have Peely and Ashleigh. They're not doing anything. Willow's not doing anything. So they're all just waiting. They're all playing the same game. Like, they're all just waiting for jury.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then when jury happens, I don't know. Are they going to start playing? Or are they just going to get too comfortable in their roles?
I mean, it could go either way, I think. I think the second that Jordan and Zach are exposed, that's probably when things will get exciting. It's just a matter of whether or not that's going to happen. Because if it doesn't happen, then I have a feeling it's just going to be like how it is right now the entire season.
But when they do get exposed, they're gonna have everybody in their pocket. Because I think Kevin's with them because they formed the Bermuda Triangle. Zach has Ashleigh because they started a showmance together, which the show really loves to give screen time to.
Yeah.
And then Kevin has Peely, who is talking about falling in love with Kevin. And then, I mean, who's left? Bobby, I guess? Bobby's not really down with the whole showmances because he's probably jealous.
He got denied, so now he's just like, I'm not, winning head of household really screwed up my game. Dramatic sigh. So I'm not gonna try playing anymore.
What did you guys think of Bobby's speech?
I thought it was embarrassing.
Contrived and embarrassing, and I was embarrassed for him.
Why would anybody believe him?
I know.
Like, I don't
think anybody believed it. I think they all saw through it, and they made fun of him behind his back afterward.
As they should. I mean, especially with that big, winning HOH really screwed me over. It's like, okay.
I'm so sad for you because you won HOH.
Yeah, we're really sad. Like, Bobby, shut up.
So, how do you guys want the game to play out?
I want Zach and Jordan to, get exposed. I want people, or not exposed, I guess, because their friendship's kind of obvious. I want people to actually do something about it, because it seems like people have a vague idea. They're like, oh, they're close, but nobody's really talking about breaking it up right now. So I want that to happen in some capacity, or I want them to have to pick a side of some kind and actually have to, fight for the right to stay in the house. Mm-hmm. And if there's a house divide this season, I think those can be fun, but people need to start picking the sides.
Yeah.
They need to make it, apparent who they're with. And I think Willow and Ashleigh and Peely, I don't want to think they're entirely useless. I don't want to think they're going to be this way the entire game. So I'm hoping at some point they do something, and I think they're kind of doing it. I think Ashleigh is, less of the chop shop than she used to be, so I could see her and Zach probably working together. Mm-hmm. If, depending on how Zach's feelings go with this, and then Peely might go with Kevin. I don't know. Peely's been kind of starting to talk game a bit, so who knows? Mm-hmm. And Willow still doesn't do anything except talk about herself, but that's fine. We can have one useless person.
I was thinking about, this whole plan. So Zach and Kevin were talking about Operation Double Date, which is the two showmances, Zach, Ashleigh, Peely, and Kevin, working together. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to think of where Jordan fits into all of this. If you were in Jordan's position, wouldn't you be scared of being in an alliance with two showmances?
Yes.
Yeah, and if he was smart, he would, go elsewhere, but he seems determined to be, Zach's ride or die for some reason.
Do you think that Jordan will go with the showmance alliance because he feels good about being in the cool kids club? Or do you think that he has a bigger, smarter plan and he's not going to go to the end with them?
I think he's kind of screwed himself there because he has final twos with both Zach and Kevin.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't believe in the fortress or whatever the hell it's called, he's kind of committed there unless he wants one of them to hate him and get him out. And they're both people who could win competitions and get him out. So he's kind of screwed, and I love it because I don't like Jordan.
Same. I'd love to see them turn on him and become an alliance of their own.
Yeah, I don't really get Jordan's plan. I mean, do you think it would be smarter for him to go with Zach or go with Kevin if he had to choose?
Probably Kevin, because I think Kevin is less committed to his showmance than Zach and Ashleigh would be.
Yeah. Although I think both of them. I mean, I think because I think Jordan's thinking that Zach and Kevin, even though they're making out with these girls, they're gonna throw them away when the time comes. Yeah. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't either. With the rate it's going,
I mean, if Peely's talking about falling in love.
Yeah.
I
don't think Kevin gets stronger. Completely emotionless.
Well, he could be less into it, and I think he is, but at the same
nobody
point,
wants
he's not
to
just going to be
an asshole and evict their showmance partner.
I mean, it's happened before. a long
Yeah.
time ago, but it's happened before.
I don't
Yeah.
really see any Mike Boogie and Zach or Kevin. Maybe Zach, I don't know. Just because I don't know, because I always think about his internet troll past, so I always like think Zach is eviler than he seems. But I don't know. I just don't think Jordan is playing it very smartly if his plan is to go to the end with Zach and Kevin because of the whole. He really needs to, like split up the showmances.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If he was smart, he'd break away in the next week or so and try to form something with the remaining people. Because they all kind of need a leader, and you know that Jordan, if there's one thing he loves, it's being in control of everything. So it's kind of the perfect opportunity to do it. Will he? Probably not.
Probably not.
I also think he's underestimating Zach. Because I think
Oh,
Zach is
definitely.
a lot smarter than what Jordan thinks. I think Jordan thinks he's like all the brains, and Zach needs Jordan's guidance, but I actually think Zach can make his own moves when the time comes.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why Jordan thinks he needs like a muscles to his brains right now anyway if they're both throwing competitions.
Exactly. It makes no sense. But
because then Zach is going to win all the competitions afterward.
I just think that's like not a well thought out strategy to begin with, because what happens if he wins HOH and Jordan can't win anything the following week? So it's like, okay, you have one competition win for an HOH where you're in power, and then the next week, since you can't win anything, you're not going to be helpful.
yeah.
If they want to remain in power.
Maybe Jordan's strategy is just to make it to All-Stars, and he's not even concerned about winning. Wasn't that Arlie's strategy in BBCAN3?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, Jordan's basically like this horrible hybrid of Arlie and Ian Terry, so.
Ugh.
I used to think he was Peter, but he's not.
No,
No.
not at all.
Is there anybody else you guys want to touch on? Anybody else in the house?
Not really, but I have noticed that it's like really sad how basically the first 4 evictions have been 4 of the most entertaining people.
Yeah. That's why I want like some kind of off day special where it's just like an hour of the sequester house
Yeah.
or something. Because they could easily do that in place of like a Sunday episode and then have the big reveal on the Monday. And they'd probably get more ratings for it because, like you said, the first 4 people are the most entertaining of the entire season.
Yep.
You put them all together, and then you have the natural friction that comes with Graig and basically anyone. And you have this, like, amazing TV opportunity, but they're not going to do it because Global is...
No, we probably won't even get like a segment on them.
I know, it's going to be so sad.
They're probably just going to show up in like workout clothes and then do the competition, and then we're never going to see 3 of them again.
Or there might be some kind of, like, web-exclusive content, because they always push that, earn your points.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd be really fun.
So it sounds like we're all kind of bored.
Yeah.
With
A little.
Yeah.
It was a good week, but it was one of those weeks where it's like you don't know what's going to happen from this point on, and what follows it is going to be underwhelming no matter what happens. Because you either have like, okay, like, say we didn't know what the results for this HOH, like this Bruno HOH, like were, we would either have like a Sarah HOH or a Johnny HOH, and that wouldn't be that exciting either, just because it'd be nice to get someone else that was annoying out of the house, but it wouldn't be like unpredictable or anything. Or we have like the Bruno HOH that we actually ended up getting, where one of the people we like is probably gonna go home or faces like, I don't know. With the twist, I'm not sure who's gonna go home this week. But
let's talk about the twist. So, the way Arissa explained it, there was going to be a veto twist where people... I mean, the way Arissa explained it and the way it was on the website, like, everybody was, like, really confused about what the twist is. And then they finally clarified it in a blog. And so, basically, you're voting for either a veto where the person is forced to use the veto. So, if somebody like Zach wins it, he has to use the veto no matter what. And then the other option is a double veto, where the person who wins the double veto has the option to either not play the veto at all, play the veto on one person, or they can play the veto on 2 people. So, like, what do you think about the twist? Like, is it too soon? And what is the better option?
I don't think it's too soon, but I'm not sure which is the better option. Because on one hand, it'd be nice to get 2 people off the block, considering who's HOH this week. But I it doesn't have to be used, right? So we could
Yeah.
vote for that and then nothing happened.
The way that Arissa explained it sounded a lot better, where it said, if you win the veto, you have to use it, and then the other option is 2 people must come off the block.
Yeah.
And it made it sound like it had to be used then, too, which would have been a lot better this week, but I don't know. They both sound kind of, pointless at this point.
So Sarah and Johnny are up, right?
Yeah,
they're
so
gonna be, yeah.
yeah, Bruno won the HOH last night, and he
Mhm.
put up Sarah and Johnny. I think Kevin is the backdoor option if Johnny wins the veto.
Because he and Brittnee talked a whole bunch today about, personal stuff and whatever, and I don't think that he wants to put her up, necessarily, because she was already up as a pawn twice, and she didn't put him up. So, because Bruno doesn't seem like a completely unreasonable person.
No.
So
Bruno's not even that bad. He's just
No.
boring.
his company was pretty crap, but now that Graig is gone, it's like he's just kind of there, and when he talks, it's not really entertaining or offensive in either end of the spectrum. He's just kind of speaking.
I mean, what are you guys gonna vote for if you're gonna vote for anything? Option 1 or option 2?
It's hard, because
What scenario do you want to play out this week?
I'd like to see 2 people come off the block, but there's a possibility that wouldn't happen.
Ideally, it would be Sarah, Johnny on the block. Brittnee gets picked for veto. Brittney wins that veto with the 2.
Oh, yeah.
Takes them both off. And then Kevin and, Peely go up. So you're automatically breaking up one showmance. And then Peely will probably get evicted. And she
Would
will
she?
have, I don't know.
I think Jordan. Well, that would be interesting, right? Because with Kevin and Peely on the block, the obvious target would be Kevin because he's winning competitions. Peely isn't much of a threat. But then, do Jordan and Zach go to bat for Kevin and try to keep him in the house?
That's a good point.
That would be a very interesting scenario.
Especially because both Peely and Kevin are playing really good social games right now.
And then would Ashleigh, who's in a showmance with Zach, vote out her best friend Peely?
It would be very interesting to see that unfold.
This has got to happen now. It's in
I
my
know,
brain,
right?
So it's probably not what's going to happen, though.
But the sad thing is, then if Kevin leaves and gets to play in that competition, he'll probably get back in.
Yeah. Which I don't really want. I mean, Kevin's okay. I get that I've warmed up to him. He's not as bad as I thought he was in the beginning. He's still kind of annoying at some point. Yeah, but I'm still gunning for Neha to get back, so.
Yeah. Personality-wise, he's okay, and I like some of his conversations about love and all that have been kind of interesting. But I think his game is very annoying. He thinks he's in this alliance with Jordan called the Fortress, which is only one-sided. And he thinks that he's good with everybody. He's just totally naive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's being manipulated by Jordan and Zach. And it's just so his game is just very frustrating to watch.
And production refuses to make him look as naive as he is.
Yes.
Because they love him for some reason. And they have all these random segments about him. It makes no sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the show, he's Arlie. And on the feeds, he's more like a... I don't know. Who would you describe him?
He's kind of his own personality.
Yeah.
I think...
Just the goofy guy. He's the goofy guy.
Yeah. The reason I've warmed up to him is because he's a better casting decision.
Is there anybody else you guys want to talk about from the... any house guests or pairings? What did you guys think about the Zach and Ashleigh showmance that they dedicated 10 minutes to in the episode?
I don't really know how I feel about Ashleigh. She's very bland, but I don't know, something about the fact that she's not as dedicated to Chop Shop as Willow is for some reason makes me like her more than Willow, but that's really not hard, so I can't really give her props for that.
Well, I don't know, because I think I saw in the feed someone said that Ashleigh was helping Bruno win the HOH.
No.
No, I thought it was only Godfrey and... It was Godfrey and Bobby.
It was Godfrey, Bobby, and Ashleigh.
Oh, Ashleigh.
From what I read, in updates, the live feed updates. I don't really know where Ashleigh stands in the game, to be honest.
Why wasn't she helping Zach then? Because she told Zach not to throw the competition, so wouldn't she be helping him instead?
I think everybody just wants to see Bruno win so he can see pictures of his family.
Yeah. Oh, because it was his birthday, too, or something. It's his birthday on Saturday, or it was just his birthday, or something like that.
I hate when people... I just hate that. Like,
I know.
giving, like, the dad or the mom of the house the HOH just so they can see pictures of their kids. Like, they saw their kids, like, 3 weeks ago. You can relax,
Exactly.
okay? Like, he's not, like, on a mission to Mars. He's gonna see them, like, in 5 weeks or whatever. Like, I hate when people do that. It's so annoying.
Be more like Rochelle and just, like, stand there with your hands on the thing until Sarah gives up and cries and she doesn't even care. She's like, yes! Yoga paid off! While Sarah's, like, hunched on the floor, sobbing. More people should be like that.
I mean, Ashleigh doesn't really have a vested interest in anyone winning, really. Like, no one's going after her, so...
Ashleigh's really weird in the sense that she talks game more than, like, Willow and Peely do, but she doesn't really do much with what she talks about.
Yeah.
She's a very
really
confusing person.
Yeah.
I think she's just in this showmance with Zach, and I think she thinks that that's gonna carry her to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Because I feel like in the segment that they showed in the episode, she's like, oh, people just think that me and Zach flirt, and we're not, like, seriously talking game or anything. Okay, like, people who are in showmances, everyone is gonna think you're talking game.
Exactly. The editing in that whole segment was so weird, too. Where it went right from Ashleigh's DR, where she said, oh, well, they think we're just a showmance and that we're flirty, but we're really talking game. And then...
as they dramatically kiss, and Zach's like...
yeah, it cuts right to Zach saying, I'm tired of talking game. And then, like, this softcore porn music starts playing in the background while they're making out. And it's like, what?
I thought it was, like, a very, like, romantic movie moment.
It's very Nicholas Sparks.
It was very scripted and just, like, too cute, so cute that it's just bland.
Yeah. It was like, it's like the Graig of showmances, where it's a caricature of what something should be.
Yeah. And you know he, like, practiced that line in the mirror or something, like, for hours before, like, making that move on her. It was just so annoying.
Probably did it in the have-not room, because he doesn't think the cameras are in there or whatever.
Oh, God.
Showmances are just annoying.
They are.
Most of them aren't very interesting. Unless it's, like, the showmance versus the rest of the house, then that could be interesting.
They're not fun unless they're not fun when they try to keep it a secret. It's more fun when they just, like, go with it and they're just crazy about it.
And Ashleigh, they're not, like, Ashleigh isn't very, like, a fun character. Neither of them are fun characters. Like, Rachel Riley was a fun character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She was Vegas.
Yeah, and she made the showmance that, like, Brendan was boring, but, like...
Yeah.
She made them seem interesting because of her, you know, like, she was playing the game, going against the house, all that, so...
Mm-hmm. And she'd play it up like crazy, like putting Matt's name in pretzels, or being like, no one gets between me and my man, where she'd play it up so it was so entertaining to watch, whereas Ashleigh's just kind of like, yeah, we flirt and stuff. And she's more entertaining with Godfrey talking about hair colors and stuff, and being double jointed, than she is with Zach.
Definitely.
So I think, they missed the mark.
I really want one of them to go home, because I think, preferably Zach, because I think Ashleigh could be interesting without Zach. And we kind of know what Zach is like without Ashleigh, just like being in a showmance with Jordan, essentially. What did you guys think of Jillian and Emmett?
They were okay.
I like their competitive spirit.
Yeah.
But they were pretty boring. And it's like Zach and Ashleigh don't have that either. They're not competitive. At least that's not their game right now.
They want to throw everything.
Yeah, they strive to be the opposite of competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Jillian and Emmett are those two people that, like, I don't personally love, but I would understand if other people liked them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I thought that they were a really good, like, first showmance for Big Brother Canada or whatever, like, introducing into the franchise in the sense that she was essentially the muscle there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she won, like, everything and never got nominated. Meanwhile, he would constantly be like, Emmett, you have been found cheating. Your HOH is being taken away from you. Emmett, we have the footage to prove it. And then he'd, like, freak out.
Yeah, they were more
yeah.
interesting than this whole Zach and... There's just... Zach and Ashleigh are just so cookie cutter. He's like, I don't want to talk game, and then he kisses her. It's just like... It's something I would see on The Bachelor.
Exactly. And then, like, I half expected him to be like, well, we have a note now. We can go to the fantasy suite, aka, like, the have-not room.
Why do you think why do you think the editors aren't showing Kevin and Pilar?
I mean, Kevin and Peely don't really talk. They just make out.
And Kevin already has a TV angle that they're going for, so it would be kind of weird to mix that up with someone that they don't really show a whole lot.
Yeah, they already
Peely's
have
kinda
one narrative
non-existent.
going on for
Yeah.
them. Pilar actually got, or Peely, actually got a DR in the last episode.
I know, it was so weird.
I was like, oh my god, she exists. So, right now, who's your favorite in the house?
I like Brittnee. I mean, after her HOH, I know that... I think, like you mentioned earlier, the mastermind thing was definitely played up in the DR. There was definitely, like, some script going on there, and it's just that Brittany's one of the few people in the house that can, like, actually
Deliver?
go with the script. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Personality-wise, she's cute, and, like, game-wise, I find what she's doing interesting. I don't think she's playing the backstab all my allies type of game. Like I said, I think last week, she's playing a more loyal game, but she's still, like, playing. Like, the whole Graig thing this week, even regardless of how people feel about whether or not it was a good move or not, the way it played out was still interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the way they set it up with Johnny being the supposed target, and then them acting their way through that. I don't know. I just found that interesting. I like Sarah, too, but
Sarah's
her meltdowns are getting yeah, they're becoming a little bit much.
They're short, but they're happening so often that it's like, you might as well just have one big good one and get it out of your system instead of all these scattered ones, because you're just drawing more attention to yourself with each of these little ones.
Do you think that she's going through, like, some kind of weed withdrawal, or do you think that is it because of the game, or losing Neha, or I don't know, what is going on with Sarah?
I think it's stress because she wanted to play a more under-the-radar game, and that's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
Because she originally wanted to lay low and be friends with everybody, and like we were pointing out, like, 2 weeks ago, when she was, like, in the best position in the house, she's not in that anymore. She's on one side of the house, and there's another side of the house that's coming after her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably leading to some stress.
I think you're right. She wanted to she wanted to lay low, play under the radar. She wanted to play like the majority of the house is playing right now, like Zach and not Kevin, Zach, Jordan, Ashleigh, Peely. And now she's like expressing like all of her frustrations toward those people because they're playing under the radar and she can't do that anymore. So she's just, I think she's in a tricky situation, and is it because Neha left? Did the instant eviction ruin Sarah's game? Or long-term game?
I don't know if it ruined it, but I do think that it kind of...
It triggered whatever's going on right now.
Yeah.
I think.
Her and Johnny having the same votes, I think, really made it apparent that her and Johnny are close and working together, which is why they're the two targets for that side of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, voting for Neha, or voting against Brittnee really had long-term consequences.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite right now, Heather?
Brittnee.
Yeah, same.
Especially, like, I liked her on the feeds today when she was trying to calm Sarah down the entire time and being like, okay, but you realize I still have your back. I'm going to do whatever I can to keep you here. And she's just like, yeah, whatever. And she's like, no, I seriously will. We still have our quote-unquote alliance with these people, and she's starting to see through the whole Zach JP thing, which that makes me happy, because she's good with Bruno. So I'm not going to say that she can get into his ear and change anything, like, massively, but at least she has some kind of voice there that Johnny and Sarah don't have.
Yeah. I like Brittnee too. I just think that she in order for her to do well in this game, and she needs a strategic mind by her side. Like Sarah or Johnny, like
I can
whoever's
agree with that.
left. Yeah, I think I do like her. I just think that she'll be lost in the game without someone there to like help her along, because I think she, like, kind of like John last year, I think she can really pick up the game and like do well as long as she has someone there with her.
Yeah.
Who knows it, but like a super fan who kind of knows it better than her and can guide her. Because she's willing to learn. She's willing, you know?
She's this interesting case of being a supporting player, but like a very vital supporting player. Like, the thing is that without like Sarah and Johnny, I don't think Brittnee would do well in the game. But without Brittnee, I don't think they would be doing well in the game.
Yeah, I think Brittnee's playing a very social game, which is very good.
Yeah.
Fizz, like she won an HOH, so she's maybe like average in the competition.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. We'll have to like wait it out a bit more before we figure out whether or not she's good at competitions.
Yeah, like social is definitely like the most important part of the game, and she just needs the strategic aspect, and she's gonna get that by working with someone.
Yeah.
And I think she's willing to do things like, unlike Pilar, she's willing to play this game and learn and all that jazz.
Yeah.
I think right now on the feeds, I'm really enjoying watching Godfrey. Like, he's not doing anything either in terms of the game, but he's been a really interesting character. I don't think he gets enough credit for being funny, and his stories are always like weird but entertaining. I think some of the the way him and Ashleigh together are really interesting to watch. I like their conversations, like their banter or whatever. He's not my favorite in the like game wise, but
you just like to see more of him.
Yeah, he doesn't get any screen time in the episodes, which I think is a shame.
Especially because his like preseason stuff was definitely the most entertaining. So I'm hoping that A, he gets like some type of alliance that's actually solid with him, and B, I hope he like, I guess, does something that gets some more screen time. He's done a little bit, like the thing with Cindy, which was ridiculous, but it was like, it got him some screen time on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he would get along really well with Paul, Kyle, and Adele from last year.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the best player, but he's he has funny stories, he's entertaining. I think
he's someone who can come up with plans but doesn't know how to actually put them together properly and execute them the way that he wants them to. Like, I feel like he has all of these different ideas floating around in his head with no real connectors there. And it's a shame that he has no one to really help him orchestrate whatever he has planned. And he probably won't at any point in this entire game, because the only person he's with is like Bruno.
Yeah, I think the first few weeks definitely screwed him over because he didn't socialize enough and he was kind of isolated from the house. And now, like, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think he's definitely safer right now. But, he doesn't have enough, like, strong relationships with anybody in the house yet to really do anything.
Which is why it's so weird that he wouldn't automatically think to go with the other underdogs right now. Because does he really think that Zach and Jordan and all of them are going to keep him over each other?
No. Oh, no, he probably thinks that, but that's not the case.
Sad. It's really sad.
I don't really get his game.
I don't think he really has one.
No. The closest he had was, this is all part of a plan. I am now the bad guy. It's like, Paul Jackson, what are you doing here?
Anything to say about Willow? I think she's the only one we really didn't talk about.
No, she talks about herself enough that we don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
Do we know if after this competition that jury starts, or?
Oh, after the 5 people competition?
Yeah.
I think it's usually after the first 6. Yeah.
For 6.
6 or 7, I can't remember.
For like, if whoever comes back leaves, they're still not going to be a part of the jury. Because that's what happened with Kesar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who do we think will be like our last 2 jury or pre-jury people?
I hope to God it's Jordan, just because it would piss him off so much, and I would love it.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It'd be great.
who's
Oh,
your least
God.
favorite right now? I think for me it's definitely Jordan. I cannot
Jordan.
stand Jordan. I don't like his game, and I don't like watching him. He's not a
Mm.
very interesting character to me. He doesn't have a personality of his own. All he can talk
No.
about is past seasons of Big Brother, past seasons of Survivor. He just wants to do podcasts all the time, talking about like who should be in BB17 All Stars. Like, he picked Lisa over Danielle from BB3. I thought that was like
Mhm.
outrageous. He's just horrible.
He's horrible. I think that's probably why he's so attached to Zach, because Zach, even though he's young-ish, he has a better idea of who he is as a person and doesn't necessarily have to rely on all of these like preformed characters to compare himself
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
So maybe he looks at him like, well, I can define myself by being the opposite of this one, which is still basing himself off of someone else, but at least it's a real person instead of someone, or like some of the people he compares himself to are obviously real too. But you know what I mean, like someone he knows personally. It's really weird, and I hate him talking and his little, well, fun fact, and it goes on for 3 hours, and it's like, some of the conversations he has would not be so bad if he did not let them go on for 6 hours and come up with all these new facets to it that no one really cares about except for him. It's just, I'm ranting about him now, sorry, go through.
What do we actually know about him, now that I think about it? I don't know anything about, like, his personal life, besides the fact that his parents are hanging out with, like, literally every alumni that they can think of. But, like, outside of Big Brother, who is he?
He's just a fan.
He's a fan.
Yeah.
His life revolves around, I don't know, Big Brother. Maybe
Big Brother,
I'm not
I
giving him
guess.
enough credit. Maybe he does have a very interesting life outside of Big Brother. I don't know him personally, obviously. It's just that from what we
We don't
see
know
on the
anything
feeds,
about
he
it.
doesn't have any stories about anything besides like Big Brother, like talking about like make your own moments, people.
I don't know. It's not even like, he doesn't have to share his personal life to be interesting. Like last season, Heather never did.
Yeah.
She'd try to keep things very, very private, and yet in the game, she was still a fun character.
Yeah, Heather was her own personality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She had things to talk about, like she had a viewpoint, like a point of view about life and relationships and
That's the one thing I miss about Big Brother. Well, no, I miss plenty of things about BBCAN2, but, like, they had, like, really serious conversations a lot, and they always talked about life, and it was never, like, or I guess the most of the time, it wasn't, like, uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but they did talk about things, and that was interesting to watch, which is part of, like, the point of the feeds is, like, you get to see how these people view the world, and you get to see experiences that you may not see normally on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not seeing a lot of that this year. It's mostly, I don't even know what they talk about, really, on the feeds now. It's mostly Big Brother, or they're playing some type of game together, or they're talking game, and it's just very, there's nothing personal about it. I'm not getting attached
Yeah.
to any of these people on a personal level.
It's just like, with the feeds this year, in respect to like what we were talking about, I feel like you could literally watch any day of the feeds and it would be basically the exact same thing. That you wouldn't even,
Yep.
like, you could splice together 4 different days and it would still work because they only talk about the same like 5 topics.
Which is probably, like, why the editing is better, because if you think about it, so many times last season we were like, I can't believe that didn't make the show, but, like,
Mm-hmm.
the editing is pretty easy because they follow the storyline themselves, like,
Yeah.
because most of it's game.
yeah, that's a really good point.
I think as far as, like, my least favorite goes when it comes to personalities, I think Jordan long-term is someone I don't want to see long-term, and then Bobby is, like, just my least favorite person in the house.
Ugh, Bobby.
I want him to go, but I want it to be after this comeback twist is gone, because once
Yeah.
he's evicted, I want him to just like not be on TV. And I want him to be one of the people who is pre-jury. Because I don't want to see him trying to be like, well, I think I really would have been sitting there if it weren't for my HOH 9 weeks ago.
I want Bobby to be, like, the pre-jury person after the competition. Like, he's the
Yeah.
very last pre-jury person.
The way he treated Ashleigh, like before she officially got into her showmance with Zach, was awful. Just awful.
God.
Like forcing her, like repeatedly asking her to sleep in the same bed as him, and then like going downstairs, sleeping in the main bedroom just so he could be with her. Like, I
Yeah.
don't just
That was creepy.
Giving her a massage. Like, he was just so desperate for a showmance with her.
He's just gross.
She was just giving, like, big signals, like, no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm. And especially when he was HOH and he was acting like he owed her something, or she owed him something for not putting her up, when he had no intention of doing that anyway. And it's just, it was gross. Like, you're making the poor girl edge off to the corner of the bed and almost fall off because she wants to get away from you, and yet it's her fault. Like, what is he?
He lied about being a virgin for... Why? Like, why was that unnecessary? Like, why did he lie about that? How is that going to take you further in the game? I don't understand.
Did you see the conversation with the dating where he was still playing it up and was like, well, you know, now that I'm 27, I have to lose it to a really special girl. And he describes Ashleigh, essentially, to a T. And it's like, that's disgusting.
And we know he's lying about being a virgin because in the HOH, like, on the website, they have this...
Yeah, the vault.
The vault, and everyone, like, talked about, like, what's the one thing you don't want the rest of the house guests to know. And his was that I'm lying about being a virgin. Just, why? Why would you do that? I don't get it. It's worse than lying about working at Costco.
Exactly.
It's just meaningless. It's just lying to lie. Which I guess that's the type of people they cast on Big Brother, but whatever.
Maybe he wouldn't have done it had he not won HOH that second week. That's his downfall for everything.
His HOH where he didn't want to get blood on his hands.
Did he say that? I can't recall.
You know, he might have said it like once or twice.
Huh. Yeah, it's not ringing any bells.
So if you guys had to give the season so far, like, an overall grade from, like, A to F, like, what would you give it?
C+.
C+ for right now.
There we go.
Yeah.
You guys said it at the same time. Yeah, I would agree. C+ is a good one.
I don't want to give up on it yet because I feel like it's still early. I mean, weeks have passed by, but like last year I was really frustrated with the season too. So I think there's still hope, but people gotta they gotta get going. They gotta start playing the game a little bit harder.
Do you think we need more twists?
Oh God.
Or less
there hasn't been a whole lot.
I think like less twists. I mean, these twists have potential to be good. They're not bad, like, as a concept, but when it comes to what's actually going on in the house, it's, like, not really relevant to what's going on. So they have these twists, and then it's like, okay, that's great, but that will do absolutely nothing to change the game right now.
I think it just makes good TV because, like, they have all this, like, suspenseful music leading up to the twist, and they have, like, it's very showy, like, when they did the instant eviction, like, having everyone write down Neha's name and then showing it to her, it was just very, like, dramatic.
Yeah.
But it didn't really have any substance.
No, and stacking them one after the other makes really no sense.
Yeah, what's going to happen later in the game? We've had a lot of twists in the beginning.
There's, like, a button in the have-not room that they still haven't, like, revealed yet, so we know there's more twists coming.
But they're getting closer to revealing it, so I could see that happening possibly next week. What's going to be left after that?
Yeah, because they had a segment on the episode, actually, where Kevin was like... Kevin's gonna find it.
That's probably the only reason why they had that whole segment, because Kevin was the one who was bouncing on it the entire time.
There's, like, 2 tiles in the have-not room where you, like, step on them, and then there's, like, it's, like, sirens blaring and everything. Yeah. I think so far the twists haven't worked out for the betterment of the season.
Yeah.
No.
The initial twist got rid of Risha, who's a very interesting character because we've never really had that older woman who's, like, sexual before. Like, that type of character has never been on Big Brother. And then the instant eviction twist got rid of somebody who was another interesting character who was strategic and had big plans for the game, and we never really got to see her play.
Yeah.
And then this veto twist, if it's going by the trend of the season so far, this veto twist isn't going to be that great either.
I know. I'm not going to vote for it because I don't want to be a part of this. Like, I'm going to be pissed off. Exactly. I'm going to be pissed off, so at least I can say, well, it's not my fault.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else?
I think that's good. I think we made a decent hour out of
of what we
a
had.
pretty underwhelming past few days.
I know. Imagine if we did this during BBCAN2. There'd be so much to talk about.
Oh God.
Oh, there would, especially around this time last year.
Oh yeah, I think Canada's HOH was that or was that Ika leaving?
This was it would have been.
This was
Oh,
Ika.
the letter
This
shredding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we would have been complaining though. We would have been like, I can't believe Ika's going home this week. We already lost and Nick and Kyle and Paul, and now Ika's leaving, and John and Netta are just gonna get picked off.
So maybe there's hope for this season if you compare it like that.
That's what I'm hoping.
I still think last season had more going for it, like more
Oh,
entertainment.
definitely.
More entertainment.
Well, the thing is that the second season like set the standard so high that I don't think anything could have really topped it this season. But I'm hoping it's not going to be like, oh, Big Brother Canada 3 is definitely like the worst season so far.
I mean, right now it is.
Well, for right now.
Did last season have Does this season have more young people compared to last season and BBCAN 1?
It was more spread out, I think, because like you couldn't tell the age divide as clearly as you can this time.
Yeah.
Where like Bruno is clearly the oldest person, and he looks like the oldest person.
Yeah, because Adele, he was like old, like he was like late 20s, and he was like talking about getting married to his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So you had like more mature personalities last year.
Yeah.
And I think even BBCAN 1 had more mature personalities, even though it was overall a very young cast.
Yeah.
And this year you have, I don't know, I guess like like the young kids, like Ashleigh, Peely, Kevin, Jordan, Zach. I don't know. I mean, people are saying that Zach is like more mature than what his age is, like wiser than his years.
No, I wouldn't say so. Because if he were mature, he would know better than to think that the have-not cameras just turn off. Like
that. I love
like,
that they showed that in the episode.
I know.
But they didn't actually show it, like they didn't show Ashleigh and Zach in the have not room. They just showed the conversation. I like that they did it that way. Because I don't need to see that other thing.
They couldn't show it. It would have been like
too hot
1
for TV.
a.m. Yeah.
Yeah. They gotta keep it PG.
Ugh.
I think we probably would have saw something on Big Brother US just because they like to do the dramatic, like shots of them going under the covers.
The dramatic, the sheet throw that,
Yeah.
What was it? David and Amanda in season 4? Where he just goes, "Sorry, Grandma," and then, like, the camera goes away.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so thank you everybody for listening. Please subscribe, leave a comment, ask questions, tell us how you're feeling about the season and who your favorites and least favorites are. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.